right now at 5, at least 3 people were killed after a tornado outbreak in Oklahoma Saturday night.
And that severe weather rolled through our area as well. We are considerably calmer today. We'll have a look at your forecast and a recap of those weekend storms coming up.
Plus, protesters gathered in downtown Joplin to protest the death of a 2-year-old that was wrongfully shot.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. So over the weekend, of course, starting Friday, we had several rounds of severe weather. We had tornadoes across the area as well. In fact, across the country over those 3 days, 157 official tornado reports from Friday through Sunday.
Oh, wow.
11 of those were in our area alone.
Yes.
And then Saturday night, that long track supercell that ran from just south of Oklahoma City up to Delaware County, producing multiple tornadoes along the way. Today, though, considerably calmer. We also have fog to contend with this morning as well. We're going to start with that with a quick look outside from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Now, if you look off in the distance, you can see that fog. Just a few minutes ago, it was creeping into downtown, so it's patchy, dense fog. These are the MoDOT cameras around the city, and as you can see, we do have that patchy fog from the city side out there. Heading up north, as you get a little further north, there is some fog here around Pittsburgh, just south of Pittsburgh, but it's not as dense as it is as you head a little further south. So roughly, we're going to say 126 points south. Joplin Airport reporting 0 visibility right now, down to 1/10 of a mile in Bentonville. So along and south of the I-44 corridor, some dense fog and dense fog advisories to go with that through 9 a.m. for Missouri and through 10 o'clock for northeastern Oklahoma. On top of that, we have all of these flood warnings across much of the area out there. A lot of flood warnings and a lot of aerial flood warnings that encompass entire counties. That is because we saw upwards of a foot of rain in some locations over the last few days. These are the tornado reports and severe weather reports over the last several days as well. The tornado reports confined to that same zone. Southeastern Kansas raked by severe weather through the weekend, large hail as well, and some damaging wind gusts on the Missouri side of things. Again, this morning, foggy but calmer, 56 in Joplin, 54 in Pittsburgh. A little cooler off in our northwestern counties, 49 Yates Center. As you head a little further south and east, we warm up nicely because you got that frontal boundary, so we got mid-upper 50s out there. Kids getting on the bus this morning, 57, partly cloudy skies, west breeze about 5 to 10. When that bus brings them home, we are clear. Winds north at 5 to 10, 75 out there. And that is ahead of highs today, right around the mid-70s across the area under sunny skies. Unfortunately, we do have more thunderstorm chances on the horizon. We'll talk about that in your full forecast, and that's coming up here in a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Well, last week's rain has brought flooding to the 4 states, and that flooding has led to one school district closing today. The Fort Scott School District announced yesterday that there will be no school due to flooding in the city. They encouraged everyone to stay safe. Fort Scott Community College posted that they will resume normal hours. At least 3 people were killed, including an infant, after a tornado outbreak in Oklahoma Saturday night. The National Weather Service reported that a number of large and extremely dangerous tornadoes were on the ground. 2 deaths occurred in Holdenville, the 3rd near Marietta on Interstate 35. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt issued an emergency disaster declaration. He will be touring storm damage in the Murray County town of Sulphur and Holdenville. Wilson County is one of the many areas to see damage following last weekend's storms. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on how the community was impacted.
I was out on this side of it watching it and turned around just ahead of it as it was coming, like I say, within about a half a mile of the community here.
Community members of Fredonia say they are grateful after tornadic activity narrowly missed the main part of town. But Wilson County still saw damage from the storms, including damaged roofs and torn up trees.
Rolled over an aluminum horse trailer, took a couple of grain bins, hit the house and tore part of the roof off the house and part of the barn wall out.
The Wilson County Emergency and Floodplain Manager says the area also needs to be aware of flooding concerns. He says area reservoirs are expected to be up, 10 feet.
We've got floodwaters in the area. Roads are pretty rough. The gravel roads, they've been washed across. Some of them are pretty narrow. Notified by dispatch this morning that local railroad had notified them that their track had been washed out. I was just out there.
He says while the storms could have proved to be much worse for the area, it did showcase the need to have a safety plan.
When you think that a storm may be forming and stuff, be prepared to go somewhere so that if it does develop into a tornado that you're ready.
Reporting in Wilson County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Wilson County officials say they believe water levels in the area to be receding, but urge the community to still be cautious. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Joplin authorities are blaming the rainy conditions for a semi-truck jackknifing onto the median of Highway 249. It happened just before 5 Sunday morning, just north of I-44. Authorities say the semi was traveling south with a 13,000-pound load when it went onto the median. It didn't block traffic and no one was injured. Well, Saturday, protesters gathered in downtown Joplin, walking up and down Main Street. They were protesting the death of 2-year-old Cleslin Crawford, who was killed in March of 2022. Cleslin was killed during an incident in which several area law enforcement agencies responded. The 2-year-old was shot by a Joplin Police Department officer who only had been identified now as Sniper 1. Protesters are asking for the name of the officer who shot Cleslin to be released.
The protest is just to let the community know, because when you go around and you ask people if they know about the story, 90% of them say no, But if another civilian was to gun down somebody, accident or not, it would be known all over. So we just want justice.
The family of Cleslin says they will continue to try and bring public attention to the story until the name of the officer is released. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Hear the phone call that the New York Jets made when they drafted local talent Isaiah Davis. Plus, Prince Harry will be returning to the United Kingdom to mark the anniversary of the Invictus Games. And we have a nice and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Kubota of Joplin, we're all about getting it done. Now,
Run.com for more details and to sign up today.
Well, on Saturday, the New York Jets drafted former Joplin Eagles running back Isaiah Davis out of South Dakota State University. Davis becomes the third athlete from Joplin High School to be taken into the NFL. Now, Davis spent his college career with the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. He led all of Division I FCS in rushing yards and this past season. Isaiah's reaction when the New York Jets drafted him is a wholesome moment. Take a listen.
Fired up?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I hear you. Ready to keep the legacy going to them Jackrabbits in the league.
Yeah, that's work, man.
All right, man. Bring that championship culture to us. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, dog.
Congratulations, man. You excited?
Yeah.
I know. I can hear it in your voice, my man. Enjoy this. Enjoy this moment. It's a blessing. Can't wait to get you here. You're coming to a great situation.
What's up, young buck? What's up?
Oh, congratulations, man. You excited? Yeah, I hear those tears of joy, man. Congratulations on all the hard work you put in. You've earned this, man. I'm looking forward to coaching and be here to give you whatever you need, help you be the best player you can be, help you be the best person you can be. Look forward to working with you.
That's work.
Well, in the college ranks, former Pitt State defensive back Rico Payton signs with the New Orleans Saints as an undrafted free agent. Payton spent 4 seasons with the Gorillas and had 4 interceptions this past year. Now he gets his shot at the NFL. We know Isaiah Davis is going to the Jets and Rico Payton is headed to the Saints, but there were more local guys heading out to NFL squads. Pitt State tight end Devin Garrison receives an invite from the Green Bay Packers for their rookie minicamp, and former Labette County quarterback Easton Dean gets a rookie minicamp invite as he will join the Tennessee Titans as a tight end for the time being. Well, the Pitt State softball team was crowned MIAA champions this past weekend. The Gorillas celebrate their first conference title since 1994. On Saturday, the Gorillas swept Central Oklahoma in their doubleheader matchup. PSU finishes the regular season with a 49-5 overall record. With Pitt State's 49th win, that sets a new program record for most wins in a season. Head coach Jenny Fuller spoke about what this means for the future of Pitt State softball.
Yeah, I think that it can be a perennial powerhouse, and I think that's what our job was to do, was to get us to where we're at and stay there. They set the bar really high, and everybody just worked really hard, so I think it was just ultimately the culture is what got us here.
It's really special to come here and see how much Coach Fuller has just completely transformed this program. She brought in so many transfers. There's so much talent here. There was talent here before. It's just like, I think putting us all together has really just pushed us, and we're killing it.
In college baseball, the Missouri Southern Lions play in their final regular season game. However, Central Missouri hits a 3-run walk-off home run to win the game 5-2. Lions will now prepare for the first round of the MIAA tournament on Friday. Still to come, we'll see why syphilis patients are complaining of unusual and severe symptoms. Plus, get another check of that forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:17 just about on this Monday morning. It is calmer this morning, but it is also foggy this morning. MoDOT cameras around the metro area showing a little bit of improvement. This is 7th and Duquesne, this is 7th and Garden Grove in Duquesne, looking back to the east. And as you can see, still pretty foggy out there. And now the fog shifting north. KDOT camera on 69 just south of Pittsburgh showing that fog has thickened up a bit out there. This is what we're looking at. Not everybody's dealing with this fog, but roughly almost right along and to the south of the Interstate 44 corridor, still dealing with patchy dense fog. Joplin reporting 0 visibility and only a 1/10 of a mile visibility in Bentonville. And we do have, going along with that, dense fog advisories. Now, for most of northeast Oklahoma, those have been removed, but Delaware County still continues until 9 and then, till 10, and then for Missouri it continues until 9. Also want to remind everyone of the numerous flood warnings we have. Some of those are river and stream flood warnings. Others that cover entire counties are aerial flood warnings, and most of these run through the morning and into the afternoon hours out there. And this is why. Look at all of this rain since Friday across the area, and where those storms trained repeatedly over southeastern Kansas, tracking to the northeast, you can see the heavier amounts out there, upwards 7-8 inches. And in these dark gray areas, I did a check on that in southwestern Bates County. Highest reading there that we picked up on the radar, 11 inches of rain in 3 days. It is a lot of rainfall. It's much needed rainfall, but we've talked about this. Too much is not good for us. We're at 56 in Joplin. It is foggy. The winds are calm out there. Humidity's at 93%. Temperatures around the region, we've got that cold front sinking through. It did fire off a few thunder showers in southeast Kansas, and they died as they shifted off to the south and east. So a little cooler out there, 49 Yates Center, low 50s in most of southeast Kansas. And as you get ahead of that front, we're mid-upper 50s out there, even a couple of low 60-degree readings. Get our morning started. We'll have a few clouds as the fog burns off. Then we will be sunny and mild, 68 by 11 o'clock this morning, ahead of highs today, heading into the mid, even upper 70s across the area. Sunny skies, and a reasonable north wind at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Heading into the evening, we're going to stay clear and we'll be on the somewhat cool side, back into the mid to upper 50s for our overnight lows. Unfortunately, we do have additional opportunities for strong, possibly severe thunderstorms as we head into tomorrow late evening and into the overnight hours. We have a low to slightly elevated risk, and we have a similar low to elevated risk as we head into Wednesday. Wednesday storms look to be a little more midday across the area. So as we head into our Tuesday, most of our Tuesday will be sunny, and as you see with these temperatures, quite warm. Won't be until about 6-7 o'clock. We'll start to see showers and thunderstorms moving into southeast Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and these will continue to track off to the east-southeast. We could see some additional scattered showers and storms overnight and into early Wednesday morning, and this is when our opportunity for some strong, possibly severe thunderstorms will be. And then as we head late morning and into the early afternoon, we'll see additional showers and thunderstorms. These aren't as long-lived, but we will see that opportunity once again with some of those storms to be strong, possibly severe, and we'll start to clear out back behind that and warm up well above average out there. Low to mid 80s Tuesday, Wednesday. After those storms Wednesday into Thursday, we have more thunderstorm chances on Thursday. We're going to cool back a little bit below average on Friday. We'll start to warm up a bit by the weekend, just in time for look at next Wednesday, pushing near 90 with additional thunderstorm chances. That's a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Looking for high quality and low prices till 2029. Peace of mind and a great night's sleep. Only at Denver Mattress.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning. Disease detectives in Chicago are seeing a worrisome trend. More syphilis patients are complaining of unusual and severe symptoms, including vision and eye problems, headache, and hearing loss or dizziness. Doctors say these symptoms are usually associated with infections that have gone undiagnosed and untreated for years, not patients in early stages of the bacterial infection. According to the study, doctors in Chicago saw more than 24 cases with these symptoms last year. Nearly a third of them were in early stages of the infection. Also, 68% lacked the typical symptoms of a rash or canker sore. This research was presented Wednesday at the 2024 Epidemic Intelligence Service Conference in Atlanta. Well, older Americans are waiting longer at the emergency room than ever before. According to KFF, they sometimes wait hours just to be admitted to the hospital. Some physicians say it's even worse than during the first years of the COVID-19 pandemic. Doctors and researchers say staff shortages are contributing to the crisis. Hospital administrators could also be setting aside more beds for lucrative surgeries and other procedures, which contributes to the bottleneck in the ER. The extent of the issue isn't entirely known because hospitals aren't required to report data about boarding publicly. Well, one new student got a taste of her dreams to run a coffee bus, but what makes it extra special is doctors said she wouldn't ever live to see it. Nick Todorovich has the story.
You don't have that much time. No one knows when they're gonna die. Like, you're not promised tomorrow.
Kylie LeMasters was diagnosed with an aggressive form of brain cancer in 2020, and her doctors told her she had 3 months to live. But she believes in making the most out of every single minute of every single day. She enrolled in Moberly Area Community College with the dream of turning a bus into a coffee shop. 4 years later, LeMaster lives on, and with it, her dream. A dream that was put on full display when Knox County High School welcomed her with a red carpet tour of their coffee bus.
Some people say you shouldn't share your dream because it's your dream and other people don't understand it, and I disagree with that a little bit. If you can see and feel and touch your dream, I think it's going to make it a whole lot more reality because it's a big world. There's surely somebody out there doing what you're doing.
Kylie's day started with a tour of the school, and then she got to order coffee from the student-run bus cafe. After she got her coffee, it was her turn to put the apron on, and she began making coffee for some younger students. Kylie tells me she enjoyed meeting the Knox County students and sharing some memories with them behind the counter.
Every espresso machine is different, and I just found it cool to learn about that one and learn about their coffee bus and how they operate it and all that kind of stuff. And those girls are very kind, and I'm not surprised that they work on a coffee bus.
The mastermind behind this day of surprises was Kylie's business professor, William King. Mr. King felt inspired by hearing Kylie's story and did everything he could to give her a chance to see her dream become a reality for an entire school district.
I think as an educator, the number one thing I always worry about is, did what I do today make a difference? That's when I go home, no matter what I'm teaching, did I make a difference in a student's life today? That's the goal of every single day of teaching.
While the taste of her dream was one day long, for a girl who was promised no tomorrows, the memory of today will last a lifetime.
Kylie says what she really loves is building connections with the community. And that's a look at Health Watch. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we're watching patchy dense fog as we get our Monday underway. This is a look from the KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh. We'll have another update on your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
But I manage it well. It's a little
Right now at 5:30, new funding is going to help build a big attraction in the city of Sapulpa, Oklahoma.
And we've got ourselves dense fog to deal with this morning, clearing out later after that weekend of rough storms. We'll recap those storms and break down your forecast coming up.
Plus, students of all ages packed the Logan Rogersville football stadium to play the world's largest game of Follow the Leader.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. So we had all that severe weather from Friday through yesterday. And I made a note here because I will not remember these numbers. 157 tornado reports across the country from Friday to Sunday.
Oh my goodness.
And 11 of those in our area in southeast Kansas. And boy, southeast Kansas, Elk, Chautauqua, Greenwood counties, tracking to Wilson, Woodson, training supercells over a 2-day period, bringing multiple tornadoes to the area. So let's start first with our fog. We have to get you out the door and we'll get to those storm reports. So here's a live look at different MoDOT cameras from around the metro area. Still some patchy dense fog out there. A little bit of improvement. Earlier, just before we went on, you could not see anything on this camera, 7th and Garden Grove in Duquesne. The other one's looking better. You also could barely see the traffic lights here at 20th and Rangeline. However, that fog lifted a little to the north, so you see a little more denser fog here on 69 just south of Pittsburgh from the KDOT camera there. Look at visibilities. We've got some reduced visibilities now building into Chanute as well, but the thicker and denser fog is right along this corridor just north of I-44 and points south. Joplin at 0.4 of a mile, Bentonville reporting 0 visibility. We have dense fog advisories, Oklahoma, Arkansas until 10 and into Missouri until 9 this morning. We have a number of flood warnings across the area. The little lines you see, these are stream and river flood warnings. The ones that cover entire counties are aerial flood advisories. And then take a look. These are all the severe weather reports from Friday through yesterday. The orange are wind damage. Of course, the red are tornado reports and the blue are large hail reports. A number of those around the area. 55 in Joplin, 53 in Pittsburgh right now. We have a cold front pushing through. It is not overly strong, but it is enough that we are in the low 50s, upper 40s in parts of Kansas. Ahead of that front, mid upper 50s, even some low 60s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, 57, partly cloudy, a west breeze at 5 to 10. Behind that front, wind shifting out of the north. Again, not a huge impact on our temperatures, 75, north breeze 5 to 10, sunny skies. And that's saying once this fog burns off, we've got sunny skies, mild temperatures out there, a much calmer day as we go into the mid 70s across the area. We do have more thunderstorm chances in our forecast, though. We're going to look at all those details in the full forecast, and that's coming up in a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, new funding is going to help build a big attraction in the city of Sapulpa, Oklahoma. The Route 66 park will be built near Highway 66 and Rock Creek. Lucy Lawson with the city says their goal is to develop and draw visitors to Route 66 since it's not traveled as much. The city now owns a portion of the Mother Road and are working on a Dewey streetscape as a part of its downtown revitalization project. The original phase of the park will feature murals for people to enjoy different walking paths, benches, and photo opportunities. Lawson tells the city that has high hopes for what the future will hold. Well, some Pittsburgh residents took time before the storms rolled in to do some running. The Dylan Meyer Get Busy Live-In Foundation Saturday morning hosted a 5K run and friendship walk. The run was kicked off Doctors David Huters, who's only missed one of the foundation's 5Ks. There was also a kids fest with activities including an obstacle course, trick shot station, and fun zone. The money raised from the event supports scholarships for area students.
I just got into running last year after a long bout of not doing anything, and between like my kids being young and wanting to have more energy, and knowing what Dylan Meyer stood for, service, loving his community. You know, I love Pittsburgh. I've lived here almost my whole life, so I decided to come out and do it.
This is the 14th year the foundation has hosted the 5K. Joplin residents Sunday hit the pavement for a 5K to support scholarships for Missouri Southern students. The run with the Pride 5K was created by Mercy Sports Care to honor Lori Pluff, a Mercy employee who passed away from cancer nearly 20 years ago. Now the event is organized by MSSU students majoring in sports and recreation management and exercise science, with proceeds benefiting sports medicine students.
It's a big deal for me because the students in the class have spent all semester working on it, and it's really cool to see it all come to fruition and be able to see all the hard work that they put in, and for the students to see that, hey, what we do for class assignments is actually done in the real world.
The theme for this year's event was Sport Jersey Run. Well, Carthage Council on the Arts Sunday hosted an American History through music event. The purpose of the event was to share and preserve the story of America through various performances. Sunday's event was created by singer and composer Cecilia Otto.
I want the community to come and enjoy the show for what it is, which it's American history through the art form of music. And I hope that takeaway, you know, there's a few kids in there right now, and I hope that they walk away learning a little bit something about the roots and about where we came from as America and the cultures that shaped us to become what we are today.
The show was free and open to the public. Well, students of all ages from kindergarten all the way to the seniors packed the Logan Rogersville football stadium Saturday morning to play the world's largest game of Follow the Leader. With more than 2,500 participants, organizers are confident they've broken the previous record of 768. This isn't the first time Logan Rogersville has made it into the Guinness Book of World Records. When this year's seniors were kindergartners, they took part in the largest ever game of Duck Duck Goose. Members of Student Council say they consider trying to break that record again.
Why break it if we already have it? Let's set another one. And that's where we try to consider the younger kids, what they'd understand.
We get to say that we broke 2 records, world records, and so it's really fun. Not many people can say that.
As of now, the results of the world record attempt are unofficial. Organizers say it will likely take several months for the record to be certified. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Iraq's parliament quietly passed a harsh anti-LGBTQ law that sentenced people who engage in same-sex relations. Plus, President Joe Biden continues expressing support for America's top ally in the Middle East. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, Iraq's parliament quietly passed a harsh anti-LGBTQ law Saturday. The law is an amendment to an existing anti-prostitution law. It will sentence people who engage in same-sex relations to 10 to 15 years in prison and 1 to 3 years for those who undergo gender transition surgeries and for the intentional practice of effeminacy. It will also ban organizations that encourage sexual deviancy and will give at least a 7-year sentence and a fine. A draft of the law would have given the death sentence for same-sex relations. There was no prior law in the country that explicitly criminalized LGBTQ relations. More than 200 days into the Israel-Hamas war, and the conflict is only escalating. President Joe Biden continues expressing support for America's top ally in the Middle East. But a new call between the two leaders Sunday is shedding light on how Israel's military strategies could be causing tensions. Ted Linder reports on the latest.
The sounds of war continuing to echo across the Gaza Strip are triggering new dialogue between the U.S. and Israel. The White House revealing Sunday President Joe Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke for a little under an hour. Throughout the conversation, Biden addressed ongoing concerns about Israel's intent to invade Rafah, the southern Gaza city that Netanyahu says is the last Hamas stronghold in the region. But it's also where more than half of Gaza's 2.3 million population are sheltering from Israel's blasts.
We heard the sound of screams. We went out to see what happened. Our neighbors had been bombed.
Ongoing IDF airstrikes in Rafah continue killing Palestinian civilians caught in the crossfire. The U.S. maintains an Israeli ground invasion could do more harm than good. This, as White House officials say, President Biden also told Netanyahu aid deliveries into Gaza should be enhanced. Meanwhile, anger over the more than 100 hostages still in Hamas captivity is fueling more protests in Israel. Thousands gathering in Tel Aviv over the weekend, carrying flares, signs, and flags as they call on Netanyahu to resign.
First priority is to release the hostages, and they failed dramatically.
Talks between Hamas and Israel to secure the hostages' freedom remain stagnant. Officials in Qatar, who've been helping facilitate the negotiations, are urging both sides to make stronger efforts to reach an agreement, which could bring about a ceasefire. This as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken prepares to head back to Israel this week.
As the U.S. amplifies pressure on Israel to allow more aid to enter Gaza, officials from the group World Center Kitchen say they are preparing to resume aid operations in the Strip. These efforts come after 7 members were killed in an Israeli airstrike less than a month ago. Staff say they have about 8 million meals ready to enter Gaza. And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Life's better when you're under.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:45 on this Monday morning. Much calmer, but also quite foggy out there. Look at MoDOT cameras around the metro area. Again, this one, 7th and Garden Grove in Duquesne, still a bit foggy out there, but we are gradually starting to see some improvements. The KDOT camera just south of Pittsburgh, also some light fog, but some improvements out there as well compared to even just a few minutes ago. Fog tracker showing some dense fog building up around Chanute, so down to a mile of visibility. 6/10 of a mile in Pittsburgh. You can see where it spreads right along I-49 all the way through Arkansas, and then just south of I-44 into Oklahoma and on the Missouri side. So Carthage down to 7/10, Joplin, Anderson, Bentonville reduced visibilities. And we have dense fog advisories. Oklahoma, Arkansas until 10 a.m. and Missouri until 9 a.m. Number of flood warnings across the area. We just want to keep reminding folks about this. Remember the most important thing: turn around, don't drown. We have had upwards of a foot of rain in some locations over the last 3 days. So where you see these flood warnings, if you are in an area that you know is prone to flooding, or you know your route takes you through some low water areas or some low crossings where they're prone to flooding, plan to take an alternate route. Look at these rain amounts over the last 3 days. And this is what we're talking about. These dark grays, that white color, yeah, it's not even on this scale because that's almost 12 inches of rain in southwestern Bates County. Where we had the severe weather, the most intense severe weather just continued to train over parts of southeast Kansas. These amounts anywhere upwards of 7, even 8 inches of rain, 10 inches of rain in some cases. So a lot of much needed rain, but too much too quick is not necessarily a good thing. And that's why, again, we have all those flood warnings. We have 55 in Joplin, foggy conditions, but again, starting to improve. Calm winds out there. We have a weak cold front that's pushing through. It set off a few stray thunder showers this morning in southeastern Kansas, and they died as they shifted off to the south and east. So back behind the front are a little cooler this morning, upper 40s, low 50s. Ahead of the front, though, much milder, upper 50s, and still sitting at 61 in Bentonville, 60 in Stockton. This front is not going to have a major impact on our daytime temperatures, but it is, again, cooling us down this morning. Once that fog burns off, skies begin to clear. Pretty nice today, 68 and sunny by 11 a.m. Clear skies into the afternoon. Mid upper 70s for most of us for our highs today, with north breeze around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Clear skies continue through the evening and into the overnight hours, and we'll fall back into the mid to upper 50s. And then unfortunately, we have additional possible rounds of strong, potentially severe thunderstorms as we head into tomorrow and Wednesday. So the isolated storms you're seeing, this is for what we saw die out this morning. We have a low to elevated risk tomorrow and again on Wednesday, and it's going to start tomorrow. It's going to be more of an evening event. Wednesday, it's going to be about a midday event. So here we are, 7 o'clock Tuesday. Ahead of all this, we're still sunny, and we're quite warm on our Tuesday. Then by 6, 7 o'clock, as we start to see these thunderstorms come in, and they'll continue to roll off to the east, and some of those could be strong, potentially severe, along with some possible redevelopment late night, overnight, into early Wednesday morning across the area. So strong, possibly severe storms there. And then we'll see redevelopment by late Wednesday morning into the early afternoon. These aren't going to last nearly as long, but when we do see those storms, again, could be strong, possibly severe, and then we'll begin to clear out back behind that. Ahead of all that, 80s Tuesday, Wednesday, a little cooler, more storms on Friday. Warming up next week. Look at next Wednesday near 90 with additional shower and thunderstorm chances next week as well. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Energy Cooperative.
A little boy is now an honorary Orlando police officer thanks to Make-A-Wish. He's an avid Paw Patrol fan who made it through a difficult medical diagnosis. Now he's a natural at law enforcement, as Michelle Meredith reports.
A day in the life of an Orlando police officer never begins pulling up in a chauffeur-driven stretch limousine. But it was not just any day for Officer Stone Hicks. Working with Make-A-Wish, he packed a whirlwind of crime fighting into a matter of hours. Years ago, Stone was struggling with kidney failure. His dad donated one of his kidneys 2 years ago, and he's doing great. But since he's always dreamed of being a police officer, the Orlando Police Department and Orlando City Soccer set him up.
Our kids go through so much when they battle their critical illness, and so we're really here to celebrate him and give him that hope and strength and joy in his life.
The SWAT team delivered his pint-sized uniform. Stone was dutifully sworn in by the chief.
Congratulations, you're a police officer.
The breaking news update, we just got word of a bold dog napping.
His name is Rocky. Please help me find my dog.
And within minutes, Officer Stone got his first case. A doggone dirty criminal stole a pup. He solved the first case before you could bark woof. With one arrest under his belt, the officer learned a T-shirt stealing thief made off with an Orlando City jersey. And Stone just got intel that the suspect is at the soccer stadium. When Officer Stone caught up with him, was he ever sorry?
I'm so sorry, Officer Stone.
After putting not one but two perps in cuffs, the seasoned officer came back to headquarters to a hero's welcome and posed for pictures in his shiny new cop car.
Him being in the police cars and rushing to the bad guys and arresting them and everything, it was like a full-on experience for him. So one that I'm pretty sure he will not forget.
But for Officer Stone Hicks, it was all in a day's work.
You were awesome! I was awesome.
Certainly got a bright future ahead of him. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Teeth are
Crossroads, Wednesday on KOAM News at 6.
When you're all tied up in knots because you can't make a good knot, a sheriff's office will ride to the rescue. The Pueblo County, Colorado Sheriff's Office must be a good place for enforcing the law and good grooming. One high school student's bright idea had him stop into the sheriff's office for a way out of a pickle. A good tie knot for the prom just wasn't happening. Fortunately, Detention Deputy Jansen graciously loaned a few good loops and twists, and voila, the problem was solved. Well, Utah family reunites with their cat who made an improbable journey in an Amazon package. Carrie Clark says her family's indoor cat Galena mysteriously went missing on April 10th. Friends and family put on a search for the cat for a week with no luck. But Brandy Hunter, an Amazon employee with good ears and careful eyes, spotted Galena in an Amazon shipping box in Jupra Valley, California, along with 5 pairs of work boots. Hunter took the cat to a local vet and gave Clark the good news. Hunter says she thinks Galena may have been in the shipping box for at least 6 days. It's not clear how Galena made her way into the box among items apparently being shipped back to Amazon in California.
Cats do love boxes, so I mean, it's not surprising that she ended up in there, but I don't know how they boxed her up without realizing she was in the box. Thankfully, she made it out all right. That's good news. And I've got good news for our weather. After a rocky weekend with dangerous severe thunderstorms across the area, today much calmer. Patchy fog will burn off, will clear out. Upper 60s by late morning, ahead of highs into the mid to upper 70s today, and a nice north breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Got a weak cold front coming through, so obviously not a major impact on our temperatures, but we'll keep it relatively pleasant out there. Heading into the evening, skies remain clear, and we will still be mild through the early evening, a little cool this evening, falling back into the mid to upper 50s. However, it's a short-lived break. We have more strong, potentially severe thunderstorms by late tomorrow evening and then again by about midday Wednesday, otherwise in the 80s. In fact, we'll spend most of our Tuesday mostly clear out there. We'll have more thunderstorm chances Thursday, AM showers on Friday, a little cooler. We warm up heading into next week. Look at next Wednesday. Can't believe that. It is going to be near 90 with additional thunderstorm chances. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.